celebrating and showcasing extraordinary people who are doing incredible things to make our world a better place. This is Close Up Television. I'm your host, Jim Masters, and thanks for joining us. On today's episode, we celebrate Kristin Sparks. Kristin is a trauma, shame, and dis-ease recovery transformation guide, and she wants to share her passion in guiding you to be the hero of your own story. She says she is the embodiment of impossibilities. Her story is one of hurt, hope, pain, and courage. She is a survivor of cancer and of a broken body, mind, and soul. She's overcome her blame, shame, and guilt and turned it into love, joy, and grace. Her mission is to bring women together in a joyous community. She's also the CEO of WRAR Incorporated, which she conceived during her healing process from esophageal cancer. Her cancer made her realize that she needed to use her voice to lift those that are fighting to be seen and heard. Now, to learn more about how she helps her clients be seen and heard and to find out more about her life's journey, she shares her story today. She joins me in the Close Up Television studios for this exclusive interview. Kristin, thanks for joining us and coming up to the Northeast here to the New York area for Close Up Television to our studios from beautiful Sarasota. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you, Jim. It's a pleasure to be here, and what a wonderful time of the year. Oh, the foliage has just been gorgeous.
You timed this perfectly.
I did.
I'm fascinated by your work. What first inspired you in your own life's journey to do this extraordinary work that you do that really helps people heal and find ways to transform their lives to a much more positive direction? It's incredible work. And I know you walk the walk, talk the talk, because you've experienced, as I've mentioned in the introduction, you've experienced so much in your own life.
I have. And, you know, I was sitting in the pool, and I thought, this is ridiculous. I need to be doing something besides just working on my body.
Right.
So I started working on the mind and the soul, too. And I knew that I needed to pass that along and to really bring love, joy, and grace to the world. It's in desperate need right now. And so my journey was just a way to transform me so that I could walk the walk and talk the talk and be able to pass that on.
I mentioned in the introduction that you literally have gone from blame, shame, and guilt to this joy and grace and happiness. And how were you able to do that? Tell us about what that process was like for you.
Sure, absolutely. For me, it was an uphill battle. You know, I really started this way back when I was 22, I think. I had just had my second child and realized that I needed to do something different at that point in my life. I was in an abusive relationship, that mentally and physically. So getting out is not an easy thing to do, and it was another child and a few more years, and then I had just a spiritual awakening at that point in my life and realized that I was not going to be what everybody else was going to be. My journey was not going to be the same, and then I stumbled like everybody does.
Yeah, everybody does, right? We're human.
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
And realized that, you know, I had the capability to fall down, and I had the capability to get back up
lift
again.
up.
Yeah, so I took these steps that were small. Each step was just a little bit further down the road, and sometimes it included some more training. Sometimes it included medical help. Sometimes it included spiritual help. And I got to a point, like I said, in the pool after this horrendous fall that I had gone through. The fall was actually very simple. The damage was horrendous.
After, right, yes, the post.
Oh, yeah, you know, left me in chronic pain, left me damaged to the point that they told me I would never walk again, and that was not really working for me, you know?
No.
I was a motorcycle riding grandma.
Right, right. There's nothing's going to stop me.
No.
Exactly.
So again, I had to go through that spiritual journey. Again, I had to figure out what that next right step was going to be.
Sounds like you've been tested a lot.
I have.
Do you think that there's a reason why? Has it just made you stronger?
Yes.
Has it made you a wonderful facilitator of this energy that you can share with other people because you've learned from these tests?
I think so. I mean, for me, I truly believe that every challenge that we go through, we asked for, because we have lessons that we wanted to learn so that we could pass it on to the next person.
Right.
And it might just be the person right next to you at the plane.
Yeah.
You know, it might be the guy that's walking down the concourse and goes, wow, you've got a smile that just brightens the room, and you've made my day.
Just by
looking
smiling,
at you. Yes. Right. You know, so everybody has a gift to give. Our purpose is because we're here. We don't need to find something outside of ourselves.
Right.
I just need to be the facilitator because I found that to be the truth. And
so how are you able to do that? So, you know, you have these things going on in your life. How are you able to get the stamina, the wherewithal, the drive to say, enough is enough, I need to go in another direction?
Oh, it's really pulling it from within. You know, we always look for things outside of ourselves.
Was there support around you?
There was absolutely. You know, you have to find support. You have to find those people, that tribe, as people call it, to be there for you. I've had a lot of mentors. You know, I could not do this by myself.
Yeah.
We are definitely stronger together.
Right.
I have a message, but so do you. You know, and if you and I can talk together, we can pass it on to a ton more people.
Exactly.
And that's really kind of the purpose behind that. So yeah, I mean, mentors are amazing, and support systems are imperative.
Let's talk about the actual work. As I say, you're a trauma, shame, and dis-ease recovery transformation guide.
I am.
Which is incredible. Let's break that out. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, we all have trauma. We all have these stories that we keep telling ourselves over and over and over again. And every time we tell ourselves the trauma, we're re-traumatizing ourselves. So I help you change your story. I help you go out of the trauma. We get into shame because we all feel that. It's only me. I'm the only one that's ever gone through this.
Yes.
I'm
Why
by myself.
me?
Yeah.
How dare they?
Yes. And how could this happen to me? We ask this why me thing. And it's not about why me. It's why not me.
Why not me?
You know, why not me? If I can do this, so can you. If you can do this, so can I. So I help you kind of walk through those paces. And dis-ease, our bodies are full of dis-ease. It's not necessarily a medical problem. It's not necessarily a mental problem. Sometimes it's just that we're not at ease with ourselves. You know, we don't understand that the doubt that we feel, everybody feels.
That's right.
You know, I can do me. I don't have to doubt me.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I can do me. I don't have to doubt me. So when you decided to create WRAR Inc., which was during a time when you had been dealing with cancer, which I had mentioned in the introduction. And how did that come about? How was that such a trigger point for you to say, I want to create something that really connects even at a deeper level with people, and to create WRAR Inc. as a result?
Well, you know, the fall for me was the universe knocking me over going, you're not doing what we asked you to do.
Yeah.
The cancer was, okay, we're going to get really specific with you because you're still not listening.
Yes, right.
Use your voice.
Right.
Start using your voice. You've got this beautiful voice to pass along this message.
Right.
Start using it.
Right.
And that's where WRAR came from.
So this had happened, and you were sort of, I mean, when it happened, when you were told there was cancer, what was that like for you? How did you, did it just bring, were you tested again?
It brought me to my knees,
Yeah.
you know, scared me to death. And literally, it was the 4th time I've died in my lifetime.
Really?
The other 3 were on opioids, not because I was addicted, but it was using them for pain medication.
Prescribed,
and
which,
the first time it was in the hospital, completely coded, right in front of my middle daughter. The other 2 times I was not at the hospital, wasn't quite so lucky, and you know, had the whole ambulance thing. It was, and then the 4th time was during the cancer, and I was unable to eat, I was unable to drink, I was unable to do anything, and had my wife not found me, I would not be here. Had to go on the feeding tube, the whole 9 yards. But it really, it was like, okay, if this is what you keep telling me, I need to do something.
These messages.
And
And now it was the body itself.
Yeah, the body
saying,
itself.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And so that was kind of my turning point with
How are you now?
I am cancer-free for 2 years, yes.
That's fantastic.
It is. It really is. They just took the port out.
Yeah.
So that was really exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you feel good.
I am healthier today.
It's like a second lease on life.
Really, it is. Life is so precious.
How do you see it differently now?
I think the biggest difference is I really live every minute. Absolutely.
Right.
Fully present.
Nothing's
this
fleeting,
is
just
such a
really
gift
it is.
right now.
And
That's what the present is.
We go through the whole thing sometimes forgetting that.
Oh, yes.
Just in the way everybody treats everybody, just the way they are. They're like, you don't realize that this could be the last 60 seconds you've got.
You don't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
None of us know.
No.
It's not scripted.
Not at all. Not at all.
So you took these experiences and created RAR Inc. What is the company? Tell us. It's kind of cool what you do.
We do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I have a podcast.
Yeah.
It's called Roar with Sparks, How Loud Is Your Roar? And I work with a lot of women, and we give each other space to talk and have a conversation, kind of like what you and I are doing, and talk about what it is that we do and bring to the world. I do retreats. The retreat that we have is I Do Me, which is kind of where that came from.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's all about releasing doubt.
Yeah.
It's all about learning who you are inside and being able to bring that out. It's bringing it out through play. It's bringing it out through experience. It's bringing it out through transformation. So it's, yeah.
So who are the clients that you generally deal with, and what are some of the things that you find they're dealing with today?
I think the biggest thing that most people are dealing with today is the inability to speak their truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
They feel limited.
They feel
like
very
they can't
limited.
express themselves, to be judged, criticized,
very much so.
canceled.
Yeah, absolutely. Very much so. You know, and being able to speak your truth, not everybody's going to agree with you. Not everybody's going to like you. And there are people that don't like me. It's not always comfortable, but it's okay. You know, again, together we're stronger. If I'm standing here holding your back, I've got you.
Exactly.
You know,
right.
This judgment that we have of each other is so harsh. You are just a human. I'm so excited to be able to be in your space.
Right, exactly.
You know, because you are human.
Right. We all have something to give.
Yes.
And when you plug in, it's incredible.
It is. And the stories that we have to tell each other, I love being able to find out other people's stories. What connects us? What is it that you and I can start a conversation about, having no idea who you are or I am, and be able to really connect to the deep soul level? That's what I do.
Very important.
It is.
Do you have like a success story or two that you could share, maybe, where you've worked with somebody who maybe was dealing with this and now they're flourishing? Absolutely.
Absolutely. I have a woman who is so amazing. She is a cancer survivor. She is a military wife, and she was absolutely 100% my exact ideal client when I was first taught about coming up with an ideal client. And she was everything, absolutely to a T, absolutely everything. And she walked into my life as a guest on my first podcast, my very first podcast. And she and I have now worked together for a year, and she actually works for me now. She's going through a divorce and didn't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
You know, she'd never worked, never had to, she raised her kids. That's what she did. You know, her husband was a doctor, she stayed home. And she was not sure how to walk this new path. How do you become a whole new person? How do you get a job? How do you go through the interview process?
Right.
All of those things. So she and I have worked together for a year now, and she is such a tenacious woman. Having never used a computer, she used an iPad. She knew nothing about computer. Yeah, that's it. She didn't, no laptop, no nothing. She had never done any kind of research. She'd never done really anything other than be a mom, and that's such an important job, you know. But that wasn't she was not involved in the other things that were, work related. So she and I have worked together for a year, and she has gone from being afraid of herself, being afraid of her anxiety. She's used a weighted blanket, had all of those things, was on anxiety medication, all of these things, and she is now flourishing. She opened up her own company, so she is now, contracting not only with me, but with other companies. She is so amazing when it comes to finding out information that I need. She is incredible with my guests.
So what were some of the things that you were able to do with her to get her to that point?
We really worked a lot on the trauma. She had gone through cancer, and her husband, it's soon to be ex,
not supportive with it.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, to the point where,
Was it breast cancer?
Breast cancer.
A lot of men leave when the women have it, or if there's a mastectomy or whatever happens, they leave the woman, which I, as a guy, could never do and could never conceive of how you can do it. It's, through sickness and health,
there's a lot of people who leave when sickness comes.
They abandon the person at their lowest time.
They really do. And she had this a few years back. So she's been cancer-free, I believe, for 7 years now. But he pretty much checked out at that point, and he's never even seen her without a shirt on since the cancer. And it was just, for her, devastating. This is, as a woman, that is what we relate our body to, is our breasts. And to have someone walk away from you that way just devastated her. So we worked through that trauma. We worked through the shame. Because it comes, losing your breast, losing your husband because of losing your breast, there's a lot of shame involved with that.
There, right?
Yeah.
Was she blaming herself?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Blaming herself, blaming, anything outside of herself, blaming everything, what I ate, what I didn't eat, what I did, what I didn't do, should I or should, all of these questions come up. So we worked through a lot of that, and we worked through the real disease disassociation with her body. The anxiety has a lot to do with that. Yeah. So we were able to get her to the point now that she no longer takes her anxiety medication. She has not needed it.
That's fantastic.
She still has it if she needs it.
If she needs it,
absolutely,
it's there, but
absolutely.
It's not something that...
Right. It's no longer something that she has to have.
Right.
So that's been a really, really great experience.
That's incredible.
I love this woman dearly. But what she's done for me, I feel like, is way more than what I've done for her.
Sometimes that's how it works, right?
Yeah,
sometimes.
It really does.
Do you have another example for us?
I do.
You probably have lots.
I do. These probably are two of my favorites. I worked with a young woman who really had a very difficult time with the fact that she was stunning. Did not like people to, oh, wow, you're so pretty and you're so tall, you must be a model. Her reaction to that was, excuse me, what about my brain?
Right.
I want you to see my brain, but everybody saw
the exterior.
The exterior, which is very common, and I'm sure you know that. We look at what's on the outside. Me too. We look at what's on the outside. We look at what somebody dresses like. Yeah, we look at how somebody carries themselves.
You size them up and everything.
You make a judgment.
Prejudge, right?
Mm-hmm. The minute that you meet somebody, you know exactly who they are, and you don't. You have no idea. Right. But learning to be able to be okay with people seeing the outside comes from looking at the inside.
Right.
You can't find it on the outside and figure out how to change other people because you can never do that. So we've gone through a lot of steps dealing with some old trauma, and a lot of it has to do with that inner child.
Does she think she's beautiful?
She does now.
Is she aware of the fact that she is?
Yes. She does now, but it took a lot. And I am a huge advocate for whatever works for you. Right. It
doesn't have to be cookie cutter.
It doesn't. And it doesn't have to be through me. If you need to go through therapy, please. I'm a huge advocate, went through a lot of therapy myself, But if we can walk you through some steps and get you to the point that's not affecting your life on a day-to-day basis, that is absolutely my job. That is 100% why I'm here.
So how do you do the sessions? Is it one-on-one? Do you do groups? Do you
I
do
really
couples? Do you
like groups.
and in person, or are you doing Zoom and all kinds of things now?
Zoom and in
Technology
person, yeah.
now has become advanced.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have people all over the world, which is an amazing thing.
It's extraordinary.
It really is. I worked in distance education back in the late 90s when this stuff was, I don't know why I didn't think of Zoom.
People, right, to build and create it, right? Before they did, right?
Right. But it is such a great tool, and I've heard a lot of people say they can't really relate to somebody on Zoom. I have made some really, really close friendships, and it really depends on who you are, you know.
Some
if
people
you
like the one-on-one contact.
And I love that too. I mean, I am so absolutely ecstatic that we're able to travel and move around and be together.
Right.
That's incredible. It really is.
That was a test.
It was. And that was a trauma in itself. We're all coming out of that with PTSD.
I would imagine that has shifted to,
it has,
with your clients, brought on some other things they're dealing with now.
Yes.
Post all of that, and it's still going on, but I mean, the bulk of it, people now sort of, with that lack of communication and being home alone or home with the family, whatever it may be, working out of the house has brought on a lot of different issues. So what are some of the issues they're dealing with now as a result of the pandemic? Well,
some of them are family. They've been thrown together and in a totally different world where you can't. Yeah. So there's been some divorcing. There's been some issues with children, differences of opinions on what's going on in the world, and that's difficult. There's, of course, just all kinds of pain that's coming up, and surfacing because of this whole pandemic. We were thrown into something that was so different than what we were used to. Nobody has been through any of this, and if we think that it's not changed, then we're not really seeing reality.
What are some of the things you've seen that have changed from your experience?
I think the biggest thing that I've seen that has changed is not communicating.
Right. Nobody's listening.
Yeah.
I'm over here and you're over there, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're in the same room and we're looking at our phones the whole time.
There's no
connection, no communication.
It's more that way now.
Yeah, it really is.
Not
much
good.
More.
Not healthy.
No, it's not. Whether you're doing it on Zoom or on your phone or ever, connect with people. Don't just look at pictures.
Right.
Right. You got to connect with a person.
No,
swipe left is not.
And it's so dismissive too.
It is.
That doesn't interest me. Next.
Yeah.
Take that finger and.
I know.
The person worked hard on that, and you just go.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. It's gone. Boom. Yes. So all of our connection is through dancing by ourselves. I love dancing by myself. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I call myself a pole dancer because I use my safety poles.
Right. Which can be a defense weapon if needed.
It could be. It could be. But yeah, we need to really connect with other people. And it doesn't matter how you do it, but do it with a real person.
Right.
That connection is so important. And I think we're losing that. I think we were losing that before the pandemic, and I think it was just
sort of, the veil was lifted on a lot of things.
Yeah, big time.
So when somebody is working with you in the beginning, what is the process like? Do an assessment? How do you get it going?
Yeah, we do a phone call. We talk. We make sure that we're really going to be able to connect well together. We want to build that trust. Yes, very much. And I like to do group. I love to do couples. But I'll tell you, the best group is 3. If you can have that 2 other people and myself, whether it's a couple or a couple of women or whatever, there's a power in 3s. I don't know what it is, but the magic happens. And
with 3?
With 3.
I wonder what that is.
Well, I think part of it, Jim, has to do with you and I can connect on one level. And so we get this story going and we get this connection going, and then we put a third person and there's a totally different perspective. And suddenly, this car we're driving down the road, we're all seeing the same thing. Instead,
Right.
or we're seeing it a little bit different from this side.
Right.
Because we get this story going and we forget that there might be something different.
Another
And
way of
magic
looking at
happens
things.
when there's another person in the room.
Isn't that incredible?
It is. It really is.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you have get-togethers, there's at least 3?
Yeah. There's at least 3.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the things that you also have an opportunity to work with your clients on when you do the sessions. When you work with your clients, is it a one-shot deal, or do they work with you on a continual basis?
We work together on a continual basis. It can be anywhere from a couple of months, 8 months, a year. It depends on what you need. It might be once.
Right.
If that's what you need and you get to where you're comfortable
Where
with
you're
you,
comfortable, right.
we're good.
How do you take this incredible, these experiences, these tests that you've had in your life, and sort of apply them to the work? I would imagine they make you incredibly relatable to the clients, because whatever they throw at you may be something you've dealt with yourself, whether it's physical illness or stress or abuse or anything that's gone on. These are things that you can tap into from your own experience. So there's
really
a
is.
compassion and empathy, non-judgmental approach to this with them.
Yeah, I call myself kind of an every woman, because I've been through so many of these challenges, from childhood sexual abuse, rape, all of those things. And like I said, they have been reasons, my challenges I brought with me, because I had lessons I needed to learn so that I could pass along that knowledge. I could pass along and be non-judgmental.
Right.
I know what it's like to judge my insides on your outsides, if you understand what I mean by that.
Right.
I can feel small and I can feel unimportant, and every single one of us is so important to the whole. We are here because we have things to teach each other. We have reasons to be together, So I use all that I have in order to be able to help whatever it is that you need. It's really dependent on what you need. I have a lot of tools that I can use and show you. I have experiences of my own, but your experience is yours. Your journey is yours. I am just here as a guide, and that's why I don't call myself a coach.
Right.
I call myself a guide. Right. And I will help you transform if that's what you want to do, but maybe you just need somebody to walk down the road with you for a little ways.
So when people approach you because they are in need of the services and of your guidance, are they finding you finding them? How is this link happening?
It's been really organic.
Referrals too,
yes.
probably?
Yeah, there's been a lot of referrals. And then we do some social media. My daughter does a lot of that for me, which thank goodness, because I don't get it.
That's a whole other beast unto itself. Yeah.
It really is. And she gets it, so she helps a lot with that. I do LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. And then we've got our website, which is WRARINC.com. And we've got a podcast, which is Roar with Sparks, and it's on all the different platforms. So yeah, they find me in a lot of different ways.
How is doing this work also transforming you?
Oh, I am just, like I said, I'm a teacher, I'm just a guide. I may be just one step ahead of you. I may not be. I may be right here with you. Whatever it is that where you are is where I'm going to meet you.
You probably sometimes even learn from them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I learn from every single person that I run into, every client that I work with.
That's incredible, huh?
Oh, yeah.
What is there an overall goal to what you're doing, what you hope the takeaways are for the clients?
Yes. I mean, the biggest thing that I like to leave with my client is joy. Joy is the highest vibration that you can have. And if I can help you find joy, my job is done.
And it's different
For everybody.
than happiness.
It is. It's completely
Joy and
different.
happiness aren't necessarily the same. We sort of intertwine those two.
We do.
I think joy is deeper.
It is.
Happy can be something, oh, I'm happy because I just won the award. I'm happy because this thing just happened. It's like a fleeting, and it's something that comes and goes, and that sometimes I think we even strive too hard and too much to achieve. I have to be happy. I have to be. When being joyful is far more deeper, resonant, long-lasting, and just what happens as far as what you give off because you're joyful is completely. Happiness seems to be a very singular thing, where joy, you want to express it.
You do. You
Right?
want to scream it from the top of the mountain.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
When did
Joy
you-
feels like a flame.
Like it's that
You
starts
know,
down
it
here and it
does.
comes.
It
When did
really
you
does.
reach that in your life? When you said,
It was the
I'm now
cancer.
joyful.
It was totally the cancer. It was coming out of that and just realizing how absolutely precious life is.
Had you had bits of joy in between?
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
it wasn't long lasting.
No, it
complete.
takes work to get there. It does, and you don't have to have what I had. You don't have to have cancer to find this. I can help you get to that joy.
Yeah.
You just have to get through the layers. It's, we're like onions.
Yeah.
Feeling
the layers back.
Yes.
Right.
And then, sometimes we have another bag sitting over in the corner we have to go through, but it's okay. For every layer that we get through, there's this absolute release.
Yeah.
And when you can release all of that blame, shame, and guilt, underneath it is that love, joy, and grace. And for me, love is all about, I've turned it into an acronym. I turn everything into an acronym. That love is letting our values, visions, and victories elevate our voices. And it's a whole program that I've put together.
Tell us about it.
Oh, it's really awesome. When we know what our actual values are, what they really are, not, I value money, or I value property, or I value, friendship. You really get down to the nitty-gritties of what your values are. And they change, but you've got some pretty basic level foundational values. And when you get to those, then you can understand what your vision is. Because I can sit here and tell you, I want a house on the beach by December 23rd, 1990 or 2022.
But you have that now, don't you?
Right,
Sarasota?
I do, absolutely.
But you had to work towards it and will it and manifest it, and it didn't just come.
I can manifest, let me tell you. I am a manifesto. But getting to joy, you have to get through those layers of values.
Yeah.
You have to understand what those
Right.
are. And then you can understand and build a vision for what you want. And then you need to brag about yourself. You need to really embody those victories that you've had.
How do you work with people who have trouble at that point? Like they're more humble, or they're just more reserved, they're not used to touting
Every
this.
conversation, give me a brag. What's your brag today?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be big.
It doesn't have to be. Yeah.
It can be, I got out of bed today.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm vertical.
Yeah.
I'm breathing.
Yeah.
Family's good.
Yeah. It doesn't even have to go that deep. We can just literally start with, I got out of bed today. I put my feet on the floor.
Yeah.
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 Because I open my eyes and I'm breathing now. I've got life. That's a big brag.
You win. Yeah.
I thank the universe every day.
Yes.
Every day when I wake up. And then when you get to that, you can really elevate your voice. And your voice doesn't have to be something where you go out and speak. You don't have to be a coach. You can paint.
Yeah.
You can write a story.
There's different ways to
whatever,
express it.
Absolutely. Your voice is your own. I'm not going to tell you how to express your voice. That's up to you. I'm just telling you that you need to.
What's some of the feedback you get from your clients, folks who have had these transformations, who've really had an opportunity to work towards and achieve the joy in their lives?
I've gotten some really amazing amazing gifts from my clients. Just the other day, I started doing the month of Me-vember instead of November.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a challenge this month of self-love and self-celebration. And so I did a webinar, and one of the clients came on, and she said, I thought we were just doing a Zoom with you and I. And just last night, I had told my husband, I really need to do some self-care, and I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
And I show up, and here you are. And that's how you always are with me. You just, here you are. And she's, she, like most, if I can get them to smile, they've started to build that flame. They've really started to build that flame. And then joy for me is really that flame. And grace is faith and gratitude. That's the embodiment of what joy means, is having faith that everything will work out the way that it needs to, that you are where you need to be. And whatever else needs to come will be there.
Right.
And gratitude for absolutely everything that you have, whether it be the water in front of you or the ground at your feet.
It's all important.
It is.
Yeah, it's all part of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Things to be grateful for. Are we not grateful?
I don't know. There's an awful lot of people that aren't.
Because we have so much at our disposal.
Yeah, we do, and we kind of take it for granted.
Just press a button, everything's done for you now.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we just had this horrendous hurricane that came through. And we were so blessed in Sarasota. We really were. Where I was, you could watch it on the radar.
it's like
it would be
parted
coming
the seas
right at us, and it would separate and go north and south.
Split.
Just totally split, and then came back again out in the ocean. It was amazing. Now, we had a little bit of damage, not a big deal, but the amount of people that came together when stuff like this happens, that's where gratitude starts to build. People start to not care what your politics are. They start to not care whether or not you believe the same way that I believe. It doesn't matter. You need help, and I can do something.
Right.
And that changes everything.
It must be extraordinary for you when you see the transformations happening for your clients. It must be a beautiful thing that happens for you as well, because everything's full circle.
It is. And again, I'm just the guide. I can give you some tools. I want you to have this journey. I want you to come to this place that you are joyful in you, because that is the end all,
Yeah.
That makes me feel amazing. I can't even, it's like falling in love.
It's hard to put in words.
It is.
Yeah, it's hard to put in words.
When you fall in love that first time and you get that giddiness, that's what it feels like.
That's cool. What a great feeling to
It
have, huh?
is.
When you wake up and like, here I am, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Do you do speaking engagements?
I do.
Do you do workshops?
I
do.
do.
You do retreats?
I do.
Tell us about these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
These things that you offer.
Absolutely. I love to get up in front of people and talk. It's just one of my jams, absolutely one of my jams. And I love to give workshops, and retreats are just kind of the gravy. I love to put people together who can give an amazing program, because again, it takes a lot of people. I don't do all this by myself.
Right. You have
you absolutely,
support system takes a village.
Well, it's not only just that. There is, for the 8-day retreat, 9 different guides. So it's not just me. There's all of these amazing women, and sometimes men, depending on the workshop that we're doing, that we put together these programs for you so that you can go from point A to point Z, and you don't have to do it by yourself. You don't have to take these steps by yourself, because sometimes they can be kind of scary.
Yeah.
This is big stuff.
Right.
So it takes a lot of people to do that. But the workshops, yes, we do those. We can do half-day workshops to, a whole week if that's really what you need. But we like to do them based on what it is you need.
That's fantastic. That's really great. I mean, so you've got a whole toolbox of things
We do.
that you offer, huh?
Yes, yes. That's one of the things when we do the retreats, you get a toolbox.
You get a whole toolbox.
You get an actual toolbox.
Wow.
And it's full of all the things that you need to do the things that you need to do for you.
That's incredible. What is it about this that brings you great blessing and joy, doing this extraordinary work that you do, Kristin?
It's the people that I work with. It's the people that I meet. That's what makes it for me. Absolutely. You know, seeing the smiles on people's faces. Yeah. Seeing the change, seeing the love. There's nothing like it.
What do you see as the future of this work for you? Do you have some other plans, other things you'd like to expand with the work?
I think I'd like to do more speaking. I really like groups.
Yeah.
You know, there's such power
TED Talks
in that.
and things of that nature. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those are great.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So connect with people.
Yeah, I want to be able to connect with more people. And as much as I love the one-on-one, I want to share this with as many people as I possibly can.
What would you say to somebody right now who's watching this on close-up television and maybe they're stuck? They're going through something right now, something that seems overwhelming, frustrating, debilitating. They maybe don't have the support system around them. Or even if they do, it's just still not enough to get them to make those moves, make that investment in themselves. I keep saying one of the best investments you could ever make is in yourself.
Absolutely.
What would you say to somebody watching right now who is going through something, listening to this conversation, liking it, being inspired by it, but they're on that fence about making the investment in themselves? What would you say to them? They're going through something now.
First off, it doesn't cost you anything to connect with me. I am not out to make ultra millions. You know, that's not my purpose. My purpose is to guide you through what it is you're going through. And in order to do that, you do have to reach out, because I can't find you if you don't find me. So reach out. That first hour, that's all on me. Yep.
So if they're going through a tough time also, I would imagine, don't give up on themselves, right?
Oh, no. There is so much inside of you that is so worth reaching out. There is so much inside of you that is so worth putting a little investment in yourself. I know it's hard. I know it's hard because I had to do it.
You've done it multiple times.
Absolutely. You know, I've fallen down and sometimes I think I'm a weeble. You know?
Like the woman in the commercial, falling down, can't get up, but you get up.
Yeah, you do, and I can help you. You don't have to do it by yourself. I've had those people around me that were able to help me, and oh, thank goodness for them. I don't know what I would have done, but I've also had to do it where there wasn't anybody because I chose not to have anybody. I was ashamed of what was going on in my life. I didn't want other people to know, you know? So I've been there. You don't have to do it by yourself. There is no judgment here. None.
Yeah.
None.
It comes from a place of empathy, compassion, and love.
Absolutely.
A true desire to want to help people.
Yes.
Help them sort of find that joy that maybe they once had and has been stifled.
Yeah.
The world came at them too quickly.
You're the hero of your own journey.
Right.
I can help you find that hero again.
Exactly.
You know, that magic you had when you were a little kid, that the world was this oyster, that you could do anything. You could ride unicorns. The unicorn that I wear, my grandmother gave me that when I was 7.
I see it there, yeah.
You know, and
7, yeah.
7. It reminds me every day of the magic that I used to believe in and I believe in again. And I can help you find that.
It's really amazing having you come to our television studios and have this extraordinary in-depth conversation in the way that we did, with your authenticity and just your passion for what you do. There's a glow there. I see the glow, and it's just the HD lighting that's doing it. There's an actual glow. And you have a true desire to want to help people, and I think it's a beautiful thing. Thanks for sharing the story. Thanks for coming here and opening up, and we encourage folks to make contact with you.
Thanks for having me.
I think the relatability is key, that you have this relatability. You also have this understanding of emotional intelligence where you can really relate to people in an empathetic way. I try to do that myself as well. before we go, what would be a few things about you, other than what I just said, the relatability, that make you stand out from other people who may do similar work? What is it about you and your approach that maybe adds that extra little spark?
That extra little spark,
like that?
I do.
I'm quick.
You are. I think the fact that I'm so humble. I know that doesn't sound humble, but it is. This isn't about my ego. It's not about me wanting to be the star. It's about me wanting to make you the star.
Right.
My journey is mine. I get to be the hero in my own story,
exactly, right.
But I want you to shine. I want you to really come out and play and be who you are. It's not that you're broken. It's not there's anything wrong with you. I just want to make you what you really are. Right. Or help you get to where you really are. You.
Cool stuff. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
this was
you.
really fantastic.
It's been awesome.
I think we've all learned something from this conversation as well. Continue blessing and joy in your life, and hopefully we'll get a chance to explore some more. It'd be always great to do that.
I would love that. Definitely.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Jim.
You're welcome. If you'd like to learn more and connect with Kristin Sparks, visit her website, WRARinc.com. For Close-Up Television and Radio, I'm Jim Masters. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.